In the heart of a quiet village called Alaedo, birds sang in the morning and the wind danced through the tall palm trees. Women fetched water at the stream and men hunted or farmed to feed their families. The village was peaceful until something strange began to happen in the royal palace. Everyone loved Queen Erimma. She was beautiful, kind and wise. Her skin glowed like the evening sun and her smile warmed even the coldest hearts. She often walked barefoot through the market, laughing with the traders and blessing the poor. But behind her kind eyes was a secret no one knew. One cool evening, an old woman appeared in the market square. Her name was Mama Odu, and her back was bent like a bow. She wore red beads and walked with a carved wooden staff. She whispered loudly, "The queen must die." People gasped. Children stopped playing. The drummers paused. A thick silence covered the air. "Who dares speak such evil?" shouted Ekene, the village guard. "I said what I said," Mama Odu replied, her eyes shining. "She wears white, but her hands are red." Nobody understood what she meant, but from that day, nothing was the same. At night, the moon seemed dimmer. Whispers filled the air like smoke. In the palace, Queen Erimma stared into her mirror longer than usual. Her smile had faded. Her husband, King Uzo, didn't notice. He trusted her deeply. But the queen was hiding something from him, something that could burn the entire kingdom down. And so, Alaedo began to change. The drums beat differently. The birds flew faster, and the villagers wondered, could it be true? Could the queen, our beloved queen, be dangerous? The sun rose slowly over Alaedo, but it felt different. The village no longer sang its usual morning songs. People whispered in corners, afraid to speak too loudly. The old woman's words were still fresh in everyone's mind. The queen must die. In the palace, Queen Erimma sat by the window, looking at the forest far away. Her hands shook slightly, but she quickly hid them in her royal robe. She had always been strong, but now she was scared. King Uzo walked in with a smile. "My queen," he said, "why do you look worried?" Erimma forced a smile. "I'm only tired, my king." He nodded and kissed her hand gently. "The people still love you. Don't mind that old woman. Maybe she has lost her mind." But deep inside, Queen Erimma knew Mama Odu had not lied. She was carrying a secret, a very big one. Later that day, 3 village boys were playing near the shrine. One of them, Obina, hit a large drum out of curiosity. Doom, doom, doom. It echoed loudly. Suddenly, the ground shook a little, and the shrine door opened halfway on its own. The boys screamed and ran to the elders. At the palace square, the elders gathered. Mama Odu stood quietly, watching everyone. "The gods have spoken," she said in a loud voice. "The drum of truth has been touched. The queen's secret must come out." Queen Erimma, who had come to hear the news, gasped. Her eyes widened. She looked at Mama Odu and their eyes locked. The queen whispered, "How much do you know?" Mama Odu smiled slowly, enough to shake the throne. People looked from one face to another. The drums were speaking, and soon the truth would rise. That night, the moon was bright over Alaedo village. The wind blew softly, but there was fear in the air. Queen Erimma could not sleep. She walked back and forth in her room, her heart beating fast. "I have to stop Mama Odu," she whispered to herself. "She knows too much." But it was too late. News was spreading fast about the talking drum. the shaking shrine, and the queen's hidden secrets. Far away, near the edge of the thick forest, Mama Odu sat beside a small fire. She was not alone. With her was a young girl named Adaora, about 15 years old. She had big eyes and a quiet spirit. "Are you ready to know the truth?" Mama Odu asked. Adaora nodded. "I am ready, Mama." Mama Odu stared into the fire. 15 years ago, on a dark, stormy night, a baby was brought into this world. That baby was you. But you were not born in a hut or in a hospital. You were born in the palace as the first daughter of Queen Erimma. Adaora gasped. "What? Me? The queen is my mother?" Mama Odu nodded. "But she gave you away. The king did not know. You were born with a strange mark on your chest, a mark the queen feared, the same mark seen in the prophecy that one day her own child would rise against her." Tears rolled down Adaora's cheeks. "So she abandoned me because of a mark?" "Yes," Mama Odu said gently. "But the gods did not forget you. They led me to find you, raise you, and bring you back at the right time." Adaora stood slowly. She wiped her tears. "If she is my mother, why does she want me dead?" Mama Odu looked deep into the forest. "Because, my child," she said, "you are the truth she's been hiding, and now the truth was coming home." In the palace, Queen Erimma sat alone on her golden chair. Her crown felt heavy on her head, and her heart was full of fear. She had just returned from the sacred temple, where the chief priest told her something that made her whole body shake. "The child you left in the forest, she lives," the priest had said, "and she carries the mark of truth. The gods are with her." Queen Erimma's eyes were wide. "No, that child cannot return. If the people know what I did, they will hate me." Just then, her loyal maid, Ngozi, entered the room quietly. "My queen," she whispered, "people are talking. They say Mama Odu has returned with a young girl." The queen stood up quickly. "A girl?" "Yes, my queen. They say she is beautiful and has a strange mark on her chest." The queen's hands began to shake. "It is her, the girl, the one I left." She walked to the window and looked out over the village. "If that girl enters this palace, everything will be destroyed. My crown, my name, everything." Ngozi looked worried. "What will you do, my queen?" The queen turned to her. Her voice was cold. "We must find her before the people find out the truth." Meanwhile, in the forest, Adaora was sitting beside Mama Odu, still trying to understand everything. "Do you think she remembers me?" she asked. Mama Odu smiled sadly. "She remembers, and she is afraid. But you, Adaora, must be strong. You are not just a child of the queen, you are a child of destiny." That night, while the village slept, Queen Erimma sent her guards into the forest with one secret mission. "Find the girl," she told them, "and make sure she never speaks a word." But destiny had already started its journey, and no one, not even the queen, could stop it. The moon was bright that night, and the forest was quiet. Adaora sat by the fire with Mama Odu, telling stories. She laughed, her eyes shining like stars. For the first time in many years, she felt safe. But deep in the trees, Queen Erimma's guards were moving like shadows. 6 strong men with sharp swords and orders to bring the girl back or silence her forever. Mama Odu's ears twitched. She stood up slowly, her eyes looking into the darkness. "Adaona," she whispered, "go inside the hut now." "Why, Mama?" Adaora asked, confused. "Just go, my child," Mama Odu said firmly. Suddenly, they heard footsteps,
quiet but many. Mama Odu picked up her walking stick and stood tall. The guards appeared, surrounding the small hut. One of them stepped forward. "Old woman," he said, "we are looking for a girl, a young girl with a mark on her chest." Mama Odu did not move. "There is no girl here for you," she replied. Another guard laughed. "Ha ha ha! Do not lie to us, woman. The queen gave the order." From behind the hut, Adaura picked out. She heard everything. Her heart beat fast. She knew they had come for her. Mama Odu banged her stick on the ground. "You will not touch her," she shouted. "This girl is protected by the gods." But the guards did not care. They moved forward. Suddenly, something strange happened. A strong wind blew through the forest. The fire went out. The trees began to shake. The guards stopped, afraid. One of them screamed, "The spirits!" In the confusion, Mama Odu grabbed Adaura's hand. "Run!" she shouted. And they did. Through the trees, over roots, and across rivers, they ran with all their strength. The guards chased them, but the forest helped the old woman and the girl. It was as if the land itself was protecting Adaura. That night, Adaura saw the truth with her own eyes. Her life was in danger, but something bigger was guiding her. She was not just running, she was running toward her destiny. Morning came slowly to Alaedo, but the village did not wake with joy. The air was heavy. Birds flew low, and the drums in the palace courtyard remained silent. News spread fast. Mama Odu escaped. There is a girl with her. The queen sent guards into the forest. Women whispered as they sold yams. Men shook their heads in fear. The elders gathered under the ancient Iroko tree, worried and confused. King Uzo stood before the throne, anger burning in his eyes. "Why were guards sent into the forest at night?" he demanded. "Who gave such an order?" No one answered. Ogozi stood behind the king, her head bowed. Her heart beat fast. She knew the truth, but fear sealed her lips. Just then, Mama Odu's voice echoed entering the king's palace. "The truth cannot run forever." Everyone turned. Her walking stick firm on the ground. Beside her was Adaura, dusty, tired, but standing tall. A cloth covered her chest, but her eyes were brave. Gasps filled the air. "That's her! The forest girl!" King Uzo stepped forward, confused. "Old woman, who is this child?" Mama Odu raised her staff. "This," she said loudly, "is the child of the palace, the blood you seek to hide." Queen Erimma, watching from the palace balcony, felt the ground move under her feet. Her past had returned. The elders demanded answers. Mama Odu turned to Adaura. "My child, show them." Adaura hesitated. Her hands shook. Slowly, she loosened the cloth on her chest. There it was, the strange mark, shaped like a rising sun crossed by a line. The elders cried out. The chief priest fell to his knees. "It is the prophecy," he said. "The child born of the crown, marked by truth." King Uzo staggered back. "This is not possible. Erimma?" All eyes turned to the queen. Queen Erimma walked forward slowly, her face pale. "It is a lie," she said weakly. "A trick." Mama Odu laughed softly. "Lies do not carry the mark of the gods." Adaura stepped forward, her voice shaking but clear. "You left me in the forest. You feared me more than you loved me." Silence fell like death. Queen Erimma's eyes filled with tears, but also rage. "If she stays," the queen whispered, "I will lose everything." And deep in her heart, a dark thought was born. That night, Queen Erimma could not sleep. Her secret was exposed. Her power was sleeping. She called Ngozi to her side. "There is only one way," the queen said. "Adaura must die." Ngozi gasped. "My queen, she is your blood." "She is my destruction," Erimma snapped. But the gods were watching. Before dawn, Adaora was taken into the sacred shrine for protection. King Uzo ordered guards to keep watch. Still, betrayal walked quietly. Ngozi, torn between loyalty and guilt, led a secret path to the shrine, one she had sworn never to reveal. As Queen Erimma raised a hidden blade, the sky thundered. The shrine doors slammed shut. The ground shook. A loud voice echoed, "Enough!" Queen Erimma screamed as the blade fell from her hand. The crown slipped from her head and rolled into the dust. She fell to her knees. Her power was broken. The whole village gathered at sunrise. The gods had spoken. The chief priest stood tall. "Queen Erimma," he said, "you shed innocent blood in your heart. You betrayed your child. The throne rejects you." King Uzo's eyes were full of pain. "Why?" he asked. "Why did you not trust me?" Queen Erimma wept. "I was afraid. I chose power over love." Mama Odu stepped forward. "And now the price must be paid." The elders raised their staffs. "The prophecy is clear," they said together. "The queen must die." Queen Erimma looked at Adaora one last time. "I am sorry," she whispered, and with that, the earth opened. The former queen disappeared into the ground, swallowed by the judgment of the gods. Silence followed. The prophecy was fulfilled.
The sun rose brighter than ever over Alaedo. The air felt clean again. Adaora stood before the people, her heart heavy but strong. She did not smile. She did not cry. King Uzo placed his hand on her head. "You are not your mother's sins," he said. "You are her truth." Mama Odu smiled proudly. "My work is done." Adaora did not take the crown that day. Instead, she chose to learn, to heal the village, to listen, to grow. And the people loved her for it. The drums beat again, children laughed, the land breathed. From that day on, Alaedo remembered one lesson forever. Secrets rot crowns. Truth builds kingdoms. And so ends the story of fear, destiny, and truth. If you enjoyed this story, kindly like, subscribe, and follow for more powerful African folk tales.